Hey, this is Bryan and thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. So today is a super exciting day. Today is my very first track day. So I have three main objectives today. So first, I want to go through the process and show you what you need to be prepared with if you're going to go to the track. I want to B, not crash, and C, not look silly at the track. So as long as we can accomplish those things, I'll say it's going to be a successful day. So through this video, we want to give you some tips and just kind of show you around and really what to expect. So before you even get to the track, there's a couple things you have to do. A, you have to find an event and sign up. And B, if you haven't done a beginner's class, I highly recommend it. I'm doing a beginner's class today because I've never driven on a track, so you gotta take some baby steps, start in the right place. Now, as time goes on, we are going to make some other videos that are more in detail on what you need to do to get prepared for the track and how to do it. A couple things that you need to do is you need to have, for this local track that I'm going to, you have to have a recent brake flush within the last 6 months. Your brake pads have to be at least 50% and your tires have to be at least 50%. Other than that, you need a helmet, you need to fill out some waivers, and you have to get your car through a tech inspection. Now, one of the cool things about New Jersey Motorsports Park is they allow you to do your own tech inspection as long as you have some automotive knowledge. So we went through, we already filled it out. So some of the things on the list are the brake fluid, the brake pads, the tires that we talked about. You have to check out engine belts, you have to make sure your battery's secured, and one of the big things is you have to take out all of the loose junk in your car, including your floor mats, because you don't want anything sliding around or getting caught up under your feet when you're trying to drive. Safety is very important, as you already know. So one of the things that they're gonna do is once I get to the track and hand them my tech inspection sheet, they're going to do a tech inspection of their own. And we're here.
Print and sign your name there. Take it, this is your first time here, you've been here before?
I'm a first timer.
Okay.
See, even that guy knew it was my first time. So over here, there's a pretty sick garage with some pretty sick cars. As far as the weather's concerned, you may notice that it's raining. Apparently, these tracks are rain or shine, most of them. So even though it is raining, everything is still on. All right, we are here with Larry and Ron from BMW CCA, and they are going to do our tech inspection today. So first thing you need to do is give them the correct tech form. That does help.
All right, so we do want to see.
We do want to see this Porsche. That's what he's trying to say.
First learning experience is you have to fill out every space on the form. So our pre-check guy is about to come over and tell you should have put NA down there for all of these things. Back again with the corrected form, so that's very good.
Oh, all right.
So I need you to
pop the form.
I need you to pop the hood.
All right.
Yeah, now it gets hard.
Yeah. I thought that was the easy part.
We're not done with you.
Oh man.
Okay, I'm going to do under hood.
Okay.
First of all, I'm going to ask you when your brake fluid was changed.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. That's fresh. We need it to be 6 months old or less because brake fluid tends to gain moisture. It's microscopic. And out on the racetrack, you're going to put a lot of use to your brakes. The brake fluid's going to get very hot. If there's any moisture in it, it turns to steam. And you'll be running down the front straight trying to, in this car, slow down from about 130 to about 60, and your pedal's going to go right to the floor. Then
we're going to have to make use of my tow hook, right?
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. Every driver is responsible for their own car. So what we're doing is spot check so that we have a reasonable level of confidence that you've paid attention. So under hood, I'm looking if I can see the brake reservoir to see if to make sure it's not leaking, that it's full. In this car, I can. So we're going to go on your word that it was changed yesterday and it's in good order. Okay. And it's your responsibility as the driver to assure that that's the case. So I'm checking to make sure there are no fluids around. I'm looking. I'm just looking to see all the hose connections are tight, that there's no obvious fluid. Coolant is very slippery on the racetrack, so we're trying to make sure we don't see any.
Sure.
Also to make sure that there's no weeping oil anywhere. In the modern cars, it's difficult to see. Sometimes the power steering fluid weeps a little bit. I want to see if the belts are in good shape. Because any of these things can turn into big problems on the racetrack. I also want to make sure, you know, things like aftermarket intakes are tight, so that's good. So underhood looks pretty good.
So what we do, same thing that Larry did underhood, we'll do basic spot checks on the exterior of the car to make sure that there's, you know, just nothing grossly wrong enough that could have been missed to be a problem on the track. So we just give the wheels a good shake, each one, see if we can detect any play in the bearings.
Okay.
Usually have to be pretty gross to show up, but it's like sometimes you catch things or a loose lug nut.
Sure.
We'll walk by and give the exhaust a shake to make sure all the hangers are secure and there's not a lot of motion.
Yep.
It's usually not a problem on a newer car. While we're passing by, we'll look for tow hooks. Another thing we check is to make sure you have a secure gas cap.
Okay.
Because obviously you're going to be going through corners at a fair clip and you can actually have fuel sloshing out of the tank if the cap's not secure.
That's a bad day.
There. The last one there. We're also taking a quick glance at the glazing and lenses on the lights as I went around, make sure we don't have any cracks or anything obvious wrong there.
Okay.
A quick look at mirrors, make sure we have an equivalent mirror for the instructor, because the instructors will be using this mirror to watch traffic behind you in case you're not aware of it, to clue you in that someone's coming up behind you and tell you maybe pointing by. Air compressor, sorry.
That's okay.
And make sure you have no large cracks in the windshield or no, very obviously dangerous chips, anything along those lines.
Can you tell us about tires? I saw on, I guess, on the website, there's no belt showing. And then I saw something else that said 50% or better, which these are 50% or better.
We don't,
but I didn't know.
If it's got a percentage on the form, that's actually fairly new for us. I haven't seen that before. Okay. But the way we've generally stated it is adequate tread for a wet track. Okay. So if you're getting close to the wear bars, within a millimeter or two above the wear bars, we might suggest it's not the best choice because you're going to be going higher than highway speeds. Sure. So you want the water to pump out of the way adequately. You don't want to find yourself coming down the main straight and have to deal with hydroplaning on top of everything else you have to think about. Yeah.
What we want 50% or better, more importantly, are the brake pads.
Yes.
Okay. Because the wear on brake pads is greatly accelerated, and sometimes, particularly if they've been through a lot of heat cycles, they don't hold up very well.
On BMWs, for going back for quite a few years up to the modern ones, the backing plate is approximately the same thickness as 50% of the pad material.
Oh, okay.
So we just take an eyeball in there, and if we see that they're roughly the same thickness, we'll caution the driver that you might be getting near the end of it. Did you bring extra pads? Mm-hmm. So it gives us a quick and easy way to check without having to do anything like measure or anything crazy like that.
Yeah. All right, cool. And then if you have a tow hook, make sure you put it on. If you have any external cameras, what I learned today, they need to be mounted and also tethered, so we have this tied to the grill. So is this is okay, right? Just making sure.
That looks secure.
So inside's really important. We want to make sure that everything that could come loose is out of the car. Even your driver's floor mat needs to be out. Mm-hmm. Anything that can inhibit your motion operating the car, even by some freak occurrence. And one of the biggest things, everybody likes to have a camera these days in the car. We're very strict about how that camera is mounted. We require any internal camera has to be either hard mounted and tethered. We have started allowing suction cups on the windshield as long as it's in the upper right quadrant of the windshield, and then we want it tethered to something like the sun visor post, so that if the suction cups should fail, it won't be flopping around the interior. Sure. Case in point, a few years ago, Patrick Dempsey, running Le Mans, had a camera mounted on the windshield and it loosened, and there is video on YouTube of Patrick Dempsey trying to find his camera, and it got into his footwell, and he was afraid that it was going to keep him from driving the car properly. So there's evidence that that's not a good idea to have just a suction cup. We need backup. Yeah. So also in the trunk, can we open your trunk?
Sure.
We want to make sure that everything is.
I have a microphone. It's all tied up.
Okay.
Here, do you want to see the battery?
Yeah, I would like to see the battery. And we need to make sure that that is firmly mounted, and it is, so that's good.
Now they're going to just do a quick brake check. Okay. Okay,
so all the brake lights work. We want to make sure that all the brakes are operating, and if the car is equipped with a high-mounted center stop light, you need to make sure that those also illuminate. The other thing we check for, we're very strict. This car doesn't have it, but if you do have an aftermarket tint, we like you to send us pictures ahead of the school, because it's really important out on track when you're following closely, so you can actually see through the car ahead of you.
Okay.
And so we're really strict about tint. If it's too dark, you know, we're not going to allow the car to participate.
You know, is there like a rough percentage? Like, is it 30, or is it you just have to see it?
We're asked that all the time.
Bigger question is the angle of the rear glass, because a tint that works fine on a very upright panel can actually be opaque due to sun reflections on a much more raked backlight.
So what we ask people to do is put the car against a light background and stand behind it and take a picture through the back window so that we can see everything. And then we'll judge. We're not trying to be, you know, hard cases about it. We're just trying to make sure everybody on the track is safe, and that one's a real important one to us.
And that's why we try to get that done before, by email, through communication with the chief of tech before you come out here, and why we stress it, because we really don't want to have tell anyone that they've got to strip tint off before they can drive, or worse, have to send them home, you know, just because of something that could have been handled by a little bit more communication beforehand. And I can't recall that we've ever had a problem like that while I've been doing this, but I know historically it has happened, so the communication is really important.
So the bottom line about driver schools with the BMW Club is we want everybody to have a great time, but we also want them to be safe.
One more in the safety column, I need to see your helmet, actually.
Oh, yes.
So we can, what we're going to do is check for the Snell certification on your helmet. Well, helmets actually have a safety rating by an organization called the Snell Memorial Foundation, set up to establish that they meet certain minimum safety requirements, and those certifications are refreshed every 5 years. They come up with updated and stricter standards each time and adapt to changes in the industry. And they also expire. Helmet certification is valid for 10 years. At any time we will accept the current and one prior certification. So right now, this being 2018, after a moment's thought there, we're looking for a 2015 or a 2010 Snell certification, and where you find them is inside the helmet. This is going to be a tough one for you to film.
That's okay.
A lot of them are difficult, but under the padding in the helmet, I'm going to need that light again there, Larry. Please. There you go. There will be a sticker somewhere in here that says we may have a problem here. I don't see.
This may not be a Snell rated helmet.
I think it is not. So what we would be looking for is a sticker with a little hologram on it that has SA and a number. And that number is the year of certification. And since you do not appear to have a certified helmet, what we're going to do is set you up with one of our loaners. For a tiny charge for the day. We have basically a rental helmet.
The motorcycle helmet, right?
Yeah. The motorcycles have a different rating. We will accept those as well. But we had a gentleman come through here earlier with a motorcycle helmet. It would have been fine because it was Snell rated, but it was an expired Snell rating. It was a 2005. So we couldn't accept his. He's also going to have a loaner for the day.
So at New Jersey Motorsports Park, motorsports in New Jersey are regulated by the state police. Section 62 of the state code deals with racetracks.
Oh, okay.
So, in fact, there was a state trooper here yesterday spot checking. So there is active enforcement. And,
especially at the beginning of the season.
So we have to always follow Section 62. So that's why we check the cars. Well, we also want everybody to be safe, obviously. But Section 62 is what drives us. So this is not, because it's not a Snell rated helmet that we can tell, we have to say you can't use it.
That's okay.
And you will.
Question while we're talking about helmets.
Yeah.
So, full face or open face, does it matter?
Yes. Yes. In the state of New Jersey, Section 62 requires full face helmets.
Okay.
All right. So what we've done here is now we've gone through the form and the tech inspections you've seen, the spot checks, I should say. 'Cause it's not really. This is the inspection. We're just doing spot checks. So it's very important. So once we've been satisfied that the exterior, interior, and underhood checks are okay, we'll give a punch in the form right here.
Okay. So showing we got a punch.
Showing a pre-check approval.
The punch of approval.
The punch of approval. And once we've done that, we're now going to hand you off to our tech team lead, who's going to talk to you about some of the last things on the form, make sure you're aware of what the condition of your car is, and see if there's anything that all the other people on the tech team have missed. And once that's done, you'll get a final punch on the back, and you'll be asked to date and sign the form again. Okay. Essentially acknowledging, like the language here says, that we're not inspecting your car, you're responsible for the condition of your car, and that you're ready to participate in a fun but inherently dangerous activity. So we want to make sure that everything's as safe as it can be.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we survived tech inspection. Those guys had a lot of really great tips. As I told all of you, this is my first time at the track, so didn't really know fully what to expect, but Tommy from Tommy L Garage was very helpful, and the BMW CCA guys were very helpful. Thank you, Larry and Ron, for helping me get through. I did learn that I don't have an adequate helmet, so I'm gonna have to get a loaner for the day, and then I'll have to buy a new one. I'm going to park. We're gonna have to go get a loaner helmet, and we'll go from there. All right, so we made it through tech inspection, and look, it's Tommy El Garage. What is he doing here?
It sounds Spanish. Yeah, no, this is the second day of us being at the track. We do this a couple of times a year. And we're just having a lot of fun. And it's really good. Yesterday is like today is like a completely different day. Yesterday we're riding in Florida. Today we're riding in Vermont.
Yeah, it was in the rain.
Yeah, it was like
in Florida. Today we're in Jersey.
It was like 90 degrees yesterday. Perfect weather. I was riding in my t-shirt. Today I'm riding in a couple of layers.
Tires. Yeah, that was awesome. Today
it'll be good. But it's gonna be a good day for you to learn some stuff, because the car's gonna be slipping and sliding, so that's good. You're excited?
Not as much as your car, but
no all-wheel drive. But is yours all-wheel drive?
I'm all-wheel drive.
Nice. That's the Plus in 4 wheels.
Quattro.
All right, we have our numbers on our car. I am 109. Got a t-shirt, got my wristband ready to go. At this point, we have to put the camera away, and we will resume on the track.
Nice, Brian. Good job. And then get all the way to the left again. Let it out all the way. Good. And you're going to go on this apron, and you're going to trust the sky here and go out. Good. Onto the apron, and then let the car out. Good. Very nice. Good. Excellent. And tap onto the apron. Good, Brian. Nice. All the way out. How's that, huh? Nice. Good. Brake and turn. Snuggle the apron, and then nice and wide. Beautiful. Good. And you're going to go on the apron, and then let it out. Let it out. That's a little tricky, right? Because you can't see the track. Go ahead, Depo. Go ahead, go. Good. And then just see if this other car catches you, then you might want to let it by. But I don't think he's going to. Brake. Good. Release. Good. Wow, good, Brian. Nice. Wait. Brake. Turn right onto it. Go ahead. Good. Yeah, I'm going to take you for a ride if it stays dry like this. It's all about using the width of the track. So you'll see me use everything up like that's good. Right there. Nice. Beautiful. Good. How do you feel? Good.
All right, we're done our first section. I had the best teacher, and we're gonna try to see if we can get him in some videos in the future. But anyway, he has offered to take me around the track in his 1M, so I couldn't say no.
All right, now that Brian is gone, let me tell you everything about Brian. He is the no, I'm kidding. He's a really cool guy. All right, so we're going up on the tower now, so I can film Brian do his runs with the instructor. Now, there are two types of people in the world. People who puke when they go for a ride with the instructor, and people who do not puke. So my money is on Bryan puking at the end of this run. Unfortunately, it happens to me. I puked yesterday when I went for a drive with my instructor, and he was driving a pretty slow E36. Bryan's going for a ride in a real 1M. Let's not confuse that. In a real 1M. So he's going to be going about 150 on the straight, then braking to about 70, and that really pushes your stomach up to your throat. All right, we're up on top. Let's see him run. This is how addiction is born. Bryan is completely hooked now. He's already talking about building a race car. So all you viewers, stay tuned for that. Stop vandalizing this car, Lucas.
Just checking.
How do we do?
We did awesome.
I was scared the whole time.
I saw you guys. That looked like 150 on the straight.
Almost.
Almost.
Not quite.
It was like 143.
We weren't really going as fast as I could because a little bit slower, even at the end. Can you hand me the radio?
I placed a bet with myself whether or not Bryan was a puker or not. How you feeling, Bryan?
I'm feeling good.
He's
You know
good.
what? I get car sick actually really easy, like when other people drive. Yeah, I didn't want to tell you before. I actually feel really good though.
Nice.
I don't know if I can walk straight, but
There we go. Let's see him.
I'm not gonna throw up.
I gotta
That was
swallow my
incredible,
pride
though.
now. All right, good job, man.
Yeah. That was
Awesome.
awesome.
Proportionally, this car is so beautiful. Like even if you compare the M3 over there to this one, the M3 is like a pig.
This thing is incredible to drive in.
Yeah.
The seats and like just.
I love the hips.
Of course, the driver. Because the driver makes a bad car seem good. So.
Not, but if you can get an M2 already, because I knew I wanted it only for the track. It was in perfect condition when I got it. No, because I just kept, I kept telling him it has a salvage title, and then my. Nice, Bryan. Good. Okay, they got to pass it. We'll try to get one too. Go ahead. Yeah, you got it. Right through it, man. Find your stuff. Beautiful. That was nice. Excellent. Very nice. Very nice. Good job. Very nice. You're going to turn early and let it go right out. And you just carried so much through there.
Yeah.
And then you brake real hard right there. Very good though. At that point when you're apexing, then you should be able to just relieve the pressure, like stop holding the wheel in. It's not like steering out.
Yeah.
It's more like I'm going to stop holding the wheel in and let the car drift out to the other edge, the outer edge for the exit on all the turns. All right?
All right, got
Does
it.
that describe that?
Yeah.
Good job, man.
Thanks.
All right. Good. Some nice throttle control, throttle balance. You're learning at lower speeds right now. Good.
Okay, so track day is officially over and I am headed home. It was amazing. I've never been on the track. I've always wanted to go on the track. It's amazing how much you learn. We had a total of 4 sessions. The first session we went out was my car and it was pretty dry and it was a little bit cold, a little bit damp. The second run we did was in Andy's 1M and it was pretty dry. It was a little bit wet, but pretty dry. We're going up to about 140 miles an hour down this one pass. and he's going around this one bend at about 120, so awesome. Front 3 was in my car. It was probably the best conditions. We got speeds up to about 120 miles an hour. Now we could have gone a lot faster, but the only thing is I have OEM brakes on here and I have my run flat tires, which are not really geared towards the track. So I just wanted to take today a little bit slower and safe, and we still had a ton of fun. It was an amazing time. Andy was the man, really helped me get up on my feet and helped really teach me a lot. Tommy was also out there in his M3 killing it, and we all just had a really good time. So if you've never had a track day before, you definitely need to do it. Now I haven't seen the footage yet, so if there's a shortage of good shots facing forward, it's because I think I broke my GoPro. Hopefully today's video helped set some expectation on what to expect if you are going to your first track day, and maybe it just eases your nerves a little bit and just gives you a better understanding, and you can be prepared with your brakes, with your brake fluid, making sure that you have the right helmet, unlike me. Again, this is Brian. Thanks so much for watching Kies Motorsports. As always, be sure to give us a nice big thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to Tommy at Tommy L Garage, and we'll leave a link in the description to his channel. And if you're in the market to upgrade your BMW, be sure to check out KiesMotorsports.com for all of your retrofit and performance needs. Again, this is Brian. Thanks so much for watching Kies Motorsports. Have a great day.